Today for New Music Monday, I'm going to take a look at the brand new release from Iggy and the Stooges, and it's called Ready to Die. Admittedly, I am a lifelong Stooges fan, and they remain one of my top 5 favorite bands of all time. But to be honest, I really wasn't a fan of 2007's The Weirdness, and I was less impressed by the lead single off of this album. Along with this is the first time the Stooges are working with James Williamson since 1973, and this is the first record since the tragic passing of Ron Asheton in 2009, so to say I didn't have high hopes for this record is an understatement. As I said, I really wasn't impressed with Burn when I heard it as the lead single, and I'm still not impressed after listening to it as the lead track on this album. And along with this, it's pretty obvious from the get-go that Iggy's vocals are a little bit too far in front of the mix, and it makes some of the sound song a bit disjointed. But the fact of the matter is, on Ready to Die, the key is getting past that first track, because once you do, this is a pretty good record. The entire band sounds fantastic. There are huge, heavy riffs, and a great grind, and plenty of that Stooges attitude you want. Along with this, almost every song has a distinctive mood that manages to completely engage you. But the big thing on this album is the fact that Iggy's sarcasm is in rare form, even for him. But you really do have to start getting used to this new vocal sound that we're hearing from Iggy, but after 2 or 3 songs, you hardly even notice. And I mean, honestly, what do you expect from a guy who's lived 66 years the way Iggy Pop has? The new sound in his voice is sort of like that interesting depth that you heard from Johnny Cash when he was in his 60s. And there's no denying that this album is full with some of the sharpest, most on-point social critiques this band has ever put out there. Whether Iggy's going after the economy, guns, imperialism, the working class, or culture as a whole, Iggy has rarely been this pointed with his words, and it works very well for these songs. At the same time, there are a handful of songs that are simply fun and silly like you'd love to hear from the Stooges, and those are great too. Because let's be honest, when it comes to that idea of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, almost nobody can outdo the track record of Iggy and the Stooges. I will admit though, the band does get a bit quieter than you might expect, and they do it more often than you might expect on this album. But there really is a solid balance that runs throughout the entire album, so it ends up working in the end. The first few times I listened to this album, I thought there were at least 2 or 3 throwaway tracks. But a couple of these songs, most notably The Departed, it really takes a few listenings before you get it and start to enjoy it. I will say that Ready to Die is certainly on par with those classic Stooges records in at least one sense. These songs are best experienced at the highest possible volume, which, let's be honest, is the only way to listen to the Stooges. All in all, I have to say it, I dig this record, and on the buy it or borrow it, for even casual Stooges fans, this is a definite buy it, and to those who, for whatever reason, haven't quite gotten into the Stooges, this is a solid borrow it because it's a hell of a rock and roll record, and this really proves that the Stooges can do it and still in top form. So that's what I got for you guys today. I hope you dug it. If you did, go ahead and click subscribe, leave a comment, click like, whatever you want to do. You can follow me on Twitter and Facebook right here, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow.